The following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, welcome back to Am I Mental, a live podcast where real people share stories about how mental health impacts life and how life impacts mental health. I'm your host, E, and with us tonight is our co-host, C.
Hello.
So, Jay has recovered from COVID. Yay! Just in time to go back on vacation again. Yay! Which means not being here. At this point, we're still waiting for the guests to show up. They may be having some issues, not sure what's going on. Facebook has decided, because of stuff that I have gotten suspended for on, public, I am now getting suspended in Messenger. So it's really hard for me to reach out to a lot of people because I actually use Facebook for most of my scheduling. So, yay. And we already have Oz in the chat, so hello, Oz. So we can at least get this started. The whole idea behind this episode was the guest and I, if she shows up tonight, just struck up a random conversation on Facebook. Just saw that she said something that got my attention. I just reached out, and the next thing I know, we had over an hour-long random-ass chat. And the thing that we had come to find is that there was a common thread where, she she left where she was to go live closer to her parents and, her family. And that whole thing was like, we discovered that the same people that could tear you apart, which your family can really fuck with you, they also have a lot of times the same power to heal and to help build you back up again. And that's why a lot of people will do things like try to stay close to their children or stay close to their kids. To their parents. I personally, went from living in the same town as my parents to moving clear across the length of the state of California. There's only like 2 or maybe 3 towns north of where I lived before you go into Oregon. And there were 2, maybe 3 towns south of San Diego before you got to the border. And I discovered in that time that it was actually extraordinarily lonely. You can make friends, but I really missed my family. Now I moved a little more than halfway back up the state, and my parents, they kind of followed a bit to be near the grandkids, and my sister had kids, and yeah, it was kind of a mess. But now my parents live pretty much right close to the middle between my sister and me. And I have no other siblings. And yeah, it's really important to me to be able to have some time with my family. I'm sorry, I love you guys, but I can't be around you guys for more than a couple of days before I start losing my shit. But yeah, I love you guys, but yeah, it just is the way it is. And see, you haven't moved away yet. Any plans?
Nope, not until 2 years or more until I transfer.
I see. Get your undergrad out of the way at the JC level.
Not really, no. Do the lesser classes, and then when I transfer, do the upper classes to get a bachelor's.
Right. Okay. Very cool. That's a good plan. I offered that to my kids, and one of them moved out instead, and the other one decided to stay with her mom because her younger siblings, no knock against them, they are very stressful, and my right smack in the middle daughter is very sensitive to things that can cause stress. Very where it's detrimental to her own mental health. So she had to leave. And there's other circumstances as well. And I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Right. I feel like I'm gonna be pretty screwed when I move out.
How so?
I feel like I'm not gonna be a competent adult
I
because I depend on people to tell me what to do. And they have to give me extreme detail in that instruction, or else I will find a way to somehow screw it up.
Yeah. I actually can relate to an extent with that. I known to fuck up a thing or two because of a detail that wasn't shared with me. So, yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I think that once you get out in the real world, though, I mean, not to say that you're not in the real world, but, you know, that's just the colloquial saying for once you move out. I think that you'll be surprised on how prepared you are in some areas and how shocked you were unprepared in others that you didn't think that you would ever have to deal with. It's how it happened with me, and I know it's happened with a lot of people like that.
I don't think I'm really prepared for much except for laundry, cooking, driving places. That's basically it.
That was more than me. To be honest, I couldn't cook for shit. I knew how to do laundry, I just didn't.
Yeah, I was taught from a pretty early age to do my own laundry and cook, and recently I got a car so I can drive. But other than that, I don't know how to apply for a job. I don't know how to pay bills or do taxes. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. How to meet people and actually interact with them. Like a normal, well, not normal, because there's no such thing as normal, but a functioning human.
Right.
Basically. I can't approach people for shit. I will give you an example.
Okay.
I went to Oklahoma to visit my family, and we were out garage sailing, just looking around. And we found like a Android mini tablet, basically.
Okay.
And Mom was like, go ask the people what the price is. And I just kind of stood there staring at the people, nervously twiddling around, kind of walking around in circles in the same spot.
Aww.
I didn't want to approach him. I felt too anxious to. It got one of the adults that lived there, like a family friend, she was like, come on, I'll come with you to go ask. And I was like, thank you. So as I'm not prepared at all. I don't think 2 years or so is going to change that.
You know what? I need to come and visit with you, and we're going to have to take some field trips. I picked up a habit of mine that I have lost somewhere along the way. So the wife and I were at Target. The kids were being watched at the time. And we needed a new pot holder. And we got one of the, you know, normally you have the ones that have, like, you stick your whole hand in and the thumbs off to the side. And when you go to use them, they're a little bit clunky because the thumbs off to the side. Well, I got one that had it was like, it opened up like a shark mouth. And it was gray. And I looked at it, and it's rubber on the front, and I'm like, you know, the rubber probably helps to prevent the heat transfer, like cloth. You know, cloth does prevent some, but let's face it, by the time you go from the oven to the stove, you might be getting a little bit of a hot thumb. You know, if it's
right.
So I was like, well, maybe the rubber will help with that. And then I looked at it and went, we just need to put a pair of googly eyes on this fake fin on this, and it is a shark. And my wife started laughing about that. And then I just went up to a random person. I'm like, if you were to add googly eyes to this and a fin, and I started making it chomp, I was like, what would you think this is? She's like, oh my God, it looks just like a shark.
Yeah, you see, that's impressive to me. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would just stare at the person and be like, okay, I'm going to go on with my day. I'm not going to try to interact with them.
Yeah, it was weird for me because, like, I used to do that all the time. I was that guy that would just strike up a random conversation with anyone. What's up?
That's how my mom and my sister were. They were very much people persons.
I can't do anything. And my daughter just came in and informed me that my son had pooped himself.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's awesome. I gotta take care of that.
Oh no.
And I love you too,
Oh
honey.
no.
Okay, so, see, do you think you got this for a few minutes?
I can tell random stories.
Go for it. Let's play
Alright.
Mr. Ballin here. I will be right back as soon as I can. I'm sorry about this.
No, it's okay. So, a good story I have
Look out, look out,
was
look out,
when
look out,
back
look out.
when my grandma was born. She was born in the 1920s, so they had like basically the golden era where there's speakeasies and things like that. Prohibition still, in effect, and her brothers were part of the rum runners. They were they were part of, I think, the Italian mafia. There's I don't know which one it was, but they were rum runners for them, and I just thought that was interesting. And they would race each other to see which one was faster, and yeah, it sounds pretty fun. Another one would be like my uncle when he was younger. He was a bit of a thief, and not a bit. He was definitely a thief. He stole four pug puppies from a store for my aunt. He broke into a train and stole a bunch of the furniture inside of it. Some of it my family still has. He would break into meat lockers and he would take the meat. And one time my mom said their fridge and their freezer were so overfull with meat that they had nowhere to put it. And a blood trail was starting to leak out of their garage and like down the street. And so they had to quickly clean it up before anyone suspected anything. Mom said it was kind of looked like they'd murdered someone. It was that bloody. What's another thing? Oh yeah, there was these dairy trucks that would come around a lot when my mom was younger. He would raid those, so they would have a bunch of milk and eggs, ice cream galore. Yeah, he was a troublemaker. There was another one where he used like a, a fake, I think a decanter of sorts to rob a place, and he got arrested for that. My mom even has the headline and everything that says what type of decanter and all that fun stuff. They were on the run, and him and his friend who helped break into the place, they cut off all their facial hair, but in the end they were caught. Uh, there's quite a few stories of my family doing not too good things when they were younger. My dad, when he was 2, he broke off a cast of his with a hammer. When he was older, he had a pair of chains and he threw it up on one of those power lines, and the power in his entire block went out. And the police suspected him, but they didn't catch him because they couldn't really prove it. Apparently, he was very much a ladies' man. I honestly can't imagine that, but he was. Apparently, he was a heartbreaker. And no, he's a pretty pretty good guy. Just kind of sits around a little bit for the most part, but it's really good. He's grown out of it. He's not a troublemaker anymore. It was when he was very much younger. It's interesting hearing about the stories that they had. I'm sorry, it's going on a bit of a ramble, but back when my parents were younger, everything was a lot cheaper. Mom said the area that I grew up in had a bunch of orchards, and they would pick apricots and they would get paid like 50 cents a bucket or so. And they would take those 50 cents and go to the movies or go to the candy store and buy like 1 cent uh, bubble gum and nickel candies, dime candies, things like that. Gas was, I think, a quarter or 50 cents. Forget which one. And it all seemed, I would love to experience that. Just openness and catching insects. And just having fun in general. It seems very nice, you know. Back in the 50s is what it wasn't great climate and rights wise, but it was very much not as populated as it once was. I was talking about the area that I used to live in.
Okay.
It was just like apricot fields and like orchards, and now it's like just a bunch of buildings and condos and things like that. Yeah, that was back when my mom was younger, and I wish I could have seen it. You know, I was saying the 50s wasn't a great place in general, but I wish I could have seen like the nature, you know?
Right.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, like I remember as a kid coming to Sacramento, and when you drove on I-5 to I-80, it was all farmland, rice fields, you know, and it was pretty cool to see. Now that whole area is housing and businesses. You know, so there's like, all of it's just gone.
Yeah, it sucks. Really does. I said two things. My ex-wife's grandparents met when he was a rum runner. Her grandma worked in a cat house. To give a little context, I said my grandma's siblings,
Yeah?
they were rum runners back when Prohibition was still around.
Oh, wow.
And they worked for, I think, the Italian mafia. Yeah. And I was talking about how my uncle, when he was younger, he would just steal shit. He stole 4 pug puppies for my aunt. He stole a bunch of meat. He broke into a train and stole furniture. He stole ice cream, eggs, dairy. He was wild, but he's no longer like that. And another thing I said is it's amazing how far our lives change from when we are kids to when we grow up. And yeah, it definitely is.
I still remember being allowed to sit in the backseat of my dad's truck going down the dirt road to North Shore for Lake Siskiyou. No seatbelts, nothing like that. You just sat in the back and you held on for dear life.
Yes. That's what my mom talked about. You didn't have to wear seatbelts. You could go into the bed of the truck and you just go.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun. She talked about like making their own skateboards and their own skates and things like that, their own kites.
Yep. Yeah, you made
that
your
sounds
own...
amazing.
Yeah, I came like right at the end of that. You know, like the bike helmet laws. I was literally 1 year older than the laws when they first kicked in. So I didn't have to wear my helmet when I was riding my bike because it's like, yeah, it's for people under this age. I'm like, whoo, that was close. Of course, now I look at it and I go, no, that probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to have a helmet. Not that I ever really crashed, but all it takes is one.
Right.
Yeah. I used to go down, there's a street in my hometown called Ream Avenue. Pretty much everybody knows it because it's a weird angle on a weird hill. And if you're driving a stick shift, it is very difficult to merge onto Mount Shasta Boulevard off of Ream Avenue. But I would ride down that on my BMX bike, flip-flops, shorts, and a tank top, doing 40 miles an hour plus on my BMX bike. Yeah.
Wow, I can only imagine.
If I wrecked, I would have been street pizza.
Yeah, you would have been scraped so badly. Oh.
Asta said, or driving on your dad's lap and steer the car as they work the pedals.
You just reminded me of something. There was this place called the R Ranch that my family used to go to. And when I was way, way little, my dad would let us drive, quote unquote, the golf cart while we were on his lap. And I remember distinctly, I almost crashed into a rock wall.
Well, I actually crashed my dad's riding lawnmower into a brick wall, or into a cement wall, so, you know.
Oh, no.
I pushed in the clutch and expected it to slow down, and I started hitting the brake, but I guess it didn't really work right. And oh wait, no, I didn't push in the clutch. That's right. I didn't know how to work a clutch at the time, so I hit the brake, but it kept going. That's what it was.
Oh, wow.
But before that, we had a compost. Okay, I grew up on 2 acres. No, it's not a ton of land, but when you're from the city, that's a lot of land. Let's just be honest.
It is.
And what would happen is that we had a private dirt road that went from the main street to the compost pile. And the part of the street that we were on, was a little privatized cul-de-sac. It wasn't really a cul-de-sac, it was a dead end. 2 houses. The city would do maintenance up until it got to the last 2 houses. Mine and the one across the street. They wouldn't do shit from that point forward. Except they would at least plow that part out when it snowed, which was, really cool. But I used to drive and park my dad's truck from the compost pile, go and park it up on the street. And I was doing that since I could just barely reach the pedals. So I knew how to drive to some extent. It was really cool being able to do that. And now it's where do I go to take my young kids out to let them do stuff like that? There's no place to go anymore.
Yeah. No, there really isn't.
I could go take them out to the Forest Service roads, but at that point there's trees and ditches and sometimes very steep hills that are damn near cliffs that you could fall off of. So yeah, no.
Yeah. No. No.
I guess maybe get a dune buggy and go to the beach. And with the drought, all the lakes are now just big beaches. I will say, it's I had my dad on as a guest, and it was a pretty popular episode, which that felt really good. But and my dad and I, we didn't always get along. There were times that my dad and I, we were so at odds with each other. I don't think that we could go 10 minutes in a conversation civilly. Within 10 minutes, it'd break down to us fighting with each other again. And I had an uncle who I was super close to, and I miss him. I miss him all the time. I miss him still. He's been gone for, I think, coming up on 10 years soon.
Wow.
Wait, no, it's been 11 years. He passed away just before I got married. Yeah, a month before I got married. And he was able to talk to me and get me to understand where my dad was coming from. And then he was able to let my dad know where I was coming from, and it pissed my dad off. How dare someone else be able to talk to my son? Yeah, as you can tell from what you met with my dad, totally different guy. I swear that somewhere right after my senior year of high school, my dad that I knew got abducted by aliens, and they put in this amazing person in his place. And I'm not saying that I didn't have an amazing experience as when he was younger too. He taught me how to ski. He taught me how to fish. He taught me how to shoot BB gun and pellet guns. He taught me gun safety, so then I was able to expand that further to 22s and then bigger and bigger. He taught me a ton. I can't even. My lifelong interest in spiders was started by him. But yeah, no, there was definitely an angry side to him that just kind of went away.
It's good. I had a similar thing with my dad, except it was when we left our old apartment building. That's what a lot of the arguments my parents would do would be about, because my mom was the manager. My dad kind of worked around the apartments, and he would always be pissed off at the tenants because a lot of them didn't listen to the rules about certain things. There'd always be the arguments that would come up, but unfortunately, he had a stroke the first time I was
No.
hospitalized. Yeah, the day that I got out, I found out he had a stroke, and it messed him up cognitively. Like, he couldn't really remember. Sometimes, if he really wanted something to be done, he would fixate on it. But, he was definitely different. And then when we left the apartment building altogether, became very mellow. There really wasn't any arguing or fighting. He would just try to find the work to do around my brother's property when he lived over here and would just go about his day like normal.
As much
And
as it sucks to see the change and knowing what caused the change, at least you didn't lose him.
yeah,
And it's cool that he mellowed out.
yeah. And his work wanted him to go right back working, but obviously we didn't allow that. And not too long afterward, I believe he retired because he was old enough.
Gotcha. And then Oz said, it's amazing how aunts and uncles can be translators for our parents. The translator of intent. It is. And what's kind of crazy is that as good as my uncle was with me and my sister, and one of my my two cousins. I have three cousins on my mom's side, but the two that weren't his, he was great with all of them. But with his own kid, it was a struggle for him. It was a very interesting dynamic and dichotomy to see. It's not that he wasn't a bad dad; he was. I mean, his son was definitely his dad, a copy of his dad. So, yeah, of course it was difficult. My uncle was a wild person. He didn't just light both ends of the candle. He lit the middle, too. And he passed away young. And even when he was in a broken-ass body, he still wouldn't let that stop him. It slowed him down, but it didn't stop him. He lived a very full life in a very short period of time. Like, he lived a better life than most people ever dream of.
Wow.
Like, he used to get backstage passes. He was on the guest list to his favorite band. Whenever they threw a concert, he just had to show up, and he was backstage. He was in the green room. He was eating their pizza, drinking their beer.
Wow.
All because he was a great fan. You know, and it's like, how many people can say that they've ever done that?
Right.
I mean, and there's a lot of people that are like, well, I used to do that too. It's like, yeah, but were you a sex object or were you just someone cool to hang out with? Because there's a difference.
Right.
He lived a pretty fun life. And he inspires me still to this day to try to be someone that lives a full life. And it's kind of like, also with, like, how your dad had the stroke, my mom had her fall. It altered her cognitively. And I've said it plenty of times on the show, and I'll say it again, that, yeah, she's about 80% of where she was. And I rejoice in that 80% that I have.
Right.
I really try to just embrace it and take as much time as I can in with her. Some people aren't as lucky. Some people that fall's fatal. Some people that fall is they're vacated. That person never comes back. They never regain their memories.
Right.
I remember one person. Wow, I hadn't thought about these people in a long time. So, across the street neighbors. The woman, they got, at first it was like a pair of bachelors that they were going to the local community college, And then one of them got a girlfriend, and the one without the girlfriend moved out, so it was the two together, and then they got married and all that, and it was sweet watching that happen. Well, she used to volunteer at the care center a lot. You know, the convalescent home, another way of looking at it. And she would bring over one of her friends every once in a while, who actually, funny thing is a mom of a really good friend of mine, but at that time, we weren't really friends.
Okay.
She was working in her garden one day and had an aneurysm. After that, she was in a care center for decades, unable to take care of herself. Always happy, always cheerful. And whenever she started getting down on herself, it took some real effort to do it, but you just simply changed the subject. She literally did not remember the old subject after you changed it. You know, it was like,
Wow.
let the therapist deal with the downer stuff with her. Because, like, it could get really dark really fast and stay that way for a long time. Or you just go, isn't today a great day? And, like, instantly, yeah, today is a great day. Previous topic is completely gone. Doesn't exist anymore. But she did have she had a decent long-term memory, though.
That's good.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. Like, if you got something to blow away out of her short-term memory soon enough, it wouldn't transfer to the long-term memory. But she remembered me for years. She remembered my sister for years. Then it turned out my mom started working at that care center, and my mom and her, they hit it off. They got close.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
You ever feel like you're in a competition with your siblings?
Not really. I mean, I guess competition-wise as not like competition-wise as wanting to walk in like their footsteps, basically. Like I gotta be as good as them because they're very responsible. And then the opposite too, looking at my brother and being like, that's someone that I should strive not to be, you know, as he could be a really good person, he could be a teddy bear, but there's just things that I want to strive not to do.
And to be able to learn for yourself off of other people's behaviors and all that, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people can't really do that. Like, they look at someone that they're close to and go, I don't like that about you. I'm not going to do that. A lot of times people are like, well, I'm going to go ahead and learn this lesson anyway. You know, monkey see, monkey do. Oh, well, that was stupid.
Right.
Yeah, so it was with my sister and me. My sister's always been the one that constantly was helping out family. You know, like even to this day, she'll send out pictures of, you know, hey, I took dad to this appointment, or hey, I took mom to this appointment, or hey, I did this with this, you know, person in our family, and I did this for that, you know, like I helped to clean up their yard.
Right.
And yeah, it felt like I was failing as a son / grandson / nephew / cousin because of it. Well, we got to talking not too long ago, and she did it because she felt, I guess, like she didn't feel like she was enough, I guess is a way of putting it. And that she did that to try to, like, validate her as part of the family or something like that. I mean, it was a weird thing. Like, it blew me away. So I was like, you're, like, awesome and shit. It's like she put together a family reunion around her birthday. It wasn't intended for her birthday. It was intended to be a family reunion. And when anyone tried to make it about her birthday, she got pissed. But we all wanted to say happy birthday and thanks for the party, you know, the family reunion.
Right.
But yeah, I always felt like I was being outshined by my little sister. It took me a very long time, into my 40s, to come to grips with she wasn't trying to outshine me. She was fighting her own battles. And part of her fight, she did these things. And just because I didn't do those things, it doesn't make me any less of a grandson, son, nephew, cousin.
Exactly.
I bring my own stuff to the table. Let's see here. Os, I used to feel like a competition with my brother and sister for attention, but older adult life, I've become too supportive to be in competition with them.
Yeah, I'm the youngest, so I don't really think I ever felt really competitive with my siblings, especially with the huge age differences.
Yeah, that's the same thing I get from my wife, because, like, she has two older siblings, and they are significantly older.
Yeah.
She was the, hey, we're getting to that age where we're about to not be able to have any more kids. Should we have one more? That was why my wife, is like, yeah, let's have one more. Okay, so they had one more. And as she puts it, it was like she was raised in a household with 4 adults. Her parents and her siblings, 4 adults. At least that was her perspective. And so she got treated differently than, say, how most siblings that are close in age treat each other. Like my sister and I, we fought a lot. She said one of the scariest moments of her life was when I was cleaning out our dog kennel with, getting rid of the dog poo. And she was standing on the gate, making it to where I couldn't get out, without having to lift her. And I mean, I was scrawny. And I hate to say it, but it's true. She was a little bit on the chunkier side. She wasn't, like, fat, but she was a little heavier. And I told her to get off the gate so I could do this. And she just looked at me and went, no. And then spit a mouthful of chocolate chip cookie at me. She said the look on my face was the first time she ever feared for her life. And the fact that I threw open the gate with her on it, like, I have to lift it and push it to get out. She was running, screaming into the house, he's gonna kill me! I wasn't going to kill her. Beat her within an inch of her life, yes, but I wasn't going to kill her.
The only thing I had my oldest sister do was tell me, like, they found you underneath a rock.
Yeah.
Specifically, so there's this place, I'm pretty sure you were here, called the R Ranch, and she said, yeah, they found you under a rock over there. You're adopted. I was like, no, I'm not. To be fair, I got the least of it. Our other sister got the worst of it. She was given a sandwich with fake cheese in it. She said my older sister convinced her that she had orangutan titty disease. She convinced
kids are so mean.
She convinced her that one of her dolls was haunted and she would make it follow her everywhere she went. Yeah, she was very cruel to her.
Wow.
And she would also tell her, you're adopted. They found you underneath a rock. When it came to, you said, like, your wife's parents, like, it was the age of, like, do we want to have another one? I was an accident, basically. They thought I was a cyst. What is it called? Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's not the best place to go, but they're like, yeah, it's a cyst. It'll go away when your period starts. I didn't ever go away.
Oh, look at you now. And you use the letter C, the first letter of cyst.
Yeah. They literally thought I was a cyst and told me I would go away. And my mom was like, oh, you didn't go away. I'm here.
Yeah.
18 to 19 years later.
Yeah, actually, I was the accident between my sister and me. So, like, when we do family board games with my parents, especially, like, Balderdash. you're supposed to put your name or your initials on the things as you turn them in, so that way you can tell who gets the score. Like, I always put, like, the oops child, the mistake, the unexpected one. And she's all the chosen one, the wanted one. And my parents read these things and like, God damn it, you too. But it's like, you know, it's just fun to play with them. I accept that I was an accident. But you know what? They gave me a good life. I wasn't treated like an accident. At no point in my life could I say that it was obvious that I was a mistake. Oh, I frustrated the shit out of my parents at times. But, I mean, what kid doesn't?
Right. Exactly. I was the same way. Mom very much viewed it as like a miracle because she had a very hard time getting pregnant in the first place, and she didn't think she would have another one. But here I am.
9 months later, the cyst turned into a person.
Yes. Exactly.
So we do have a few comments here. So Os, I used to feel it was a competition with my brother and sister for attention. Oh, I already did that one. JB, hey JB here. Sorry it took me so long to get here, on here. I just got off an important call. Apologies for being late. Dude, no excuses. Kat, I'm 10 years older than my sister, so it's like separate families. We're close now, though. Yeah, my sister and I are really like best friends. The last time we had a visit, we actually had a cry it out moment together, and it was really awesome. It was one of those things that I was already like in a really bad headspace, and she was just being who she always is, and it was messing with me, and it hit differently. And I was trying really hard not to let it bother me, but I was in a very bad place. And it was during one of my kids' birthdays, so I really just did the best I could with it. And when it was over, I told her about it. I was like, hey, you know, that shit really hurt this time. I know you were just messing with me, but I don't know why, but it really hurt. You know, and it's like, because there is a part of me that I felt that way. And we cried it out.
Right.
And she's like, I never really meant to hurt you. She's like, I never wanted to hurt you. And, you know, it's just, she really is one of my best friends. And then Oz said, I'm the middle child and everything was my fault. My little brother was coddled. My older sister is kind of self-isolated. Yeah, my mom is the oldest of three. And I have heard so much from the middle child about what it's like being the middle child, especially when there's only three. The oldest gets all the extra, like, trust and, you know, expectations and responsibilities and all that. The youngest gets away with everything, but that middle child gets blamed for everything. And it's the weird power dynamic where the oldest and youngest tend to team up all the time.
Really?
I never saw it, because I only have one sibling. Although I can say when I've looked at, like, other family members where they have, like, where I have, like, three cousins, I see it. It's like, it's there. And the thing is that the teaming up, it's all very opportunistic. Sometimes it's the oldest two teaming up on the little one. Sometimes it's the youngest two teaming up on the older one. But more often than not, it's the first and last teaming up on the middles.
Interesting.
Yeah. JB?
Yeah, I've never seen that because usually my family has like more than 3 kids.
Yeah, no, yeah, I didn't think I was ever going to have more than 2. Oops. And then JB said, dude, if you killed someone, I'd come find you and beat you senseless. And then was laughing about orangutan titties. Oh my fucking god, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Orangutan titty disease.
That is amazing. Orangutan titty disease. OTD. Also talk about Bob Ross' happy little accidents.
I'm telling you.
The cat was who isn't an accident. Well, my sister was planned. I know that the oldest was an accident, you know, for, like, you know, the one that I consider my oldest, and also the one that I actually had that's my oldest. They were both accidents. But every kid after that was intended. Hell, I went through IVF twice with my wife for the last 2. Very much intended.
My brother was an accident. My mom was very young, so but yeah, he was an accident. I believe my other sisters were planned. My sisters were planned, and then there was me, the cyst.
The cyst.
Accident, two planned, and then the cyst. We're a child sandwich. Two accidents making the bun, the planned kids in the middle.
So my dad is the second oldest of 10 kids. He's the oldest son. He has an older sister. The last two, it was the whole thing of why is mom acting so weird right now? And then dad going, well, when women get older, they go through this change. Nope, not a change, it's a pregnancy. Boom, baby. Oh, how come mom's acting all moody again? Well, when women get older, they go through this change. Boom, baby. Not the change. Why is mommy acting this way? I'm hoping that maybe it's the change this time. And it was a change.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, Lord, I already had 8 kids, and then, well, maybe, it's menopause. Nope, it's a baby. Here's number 9. Maybe it's menopause. Nope, it's a baby. Here's number 10. God, please be menopause.
Wow.
And I said, my sister could do no wrong. When I was a kid, I called her the goddess of goodness. My little bro was always given the out. He's the youngest. He doesn't know any better. I'm like, Mom, he's 30. Come on.
Yeah, the youngest children, I think, usually have like the slack or like the laxist when it comes to parenting, at least in my case. Like with my older sister, because my brother, he was a drug addict, he dropped out of high school young, he was in prison a lot. She had a lot of pressure on her to be very responsible, basically the opposite of him. And then my other sister was born, and we got a little laxer with her, but there was still some strictness. And then there was me, and like apparently when they were younger, if they took their clothes off their dolls, they would get in huge trouble. They would be like berated for it. But when I did it, they would be like, just put your clothes on. Put the clothes on, and that was basically it. So I would say with the younger kids, they're definitely a lot laxer in some cases.
All right, so there's this lady on TikTok that I follow. She cracks me up because she does this role play thing where she plays the oldest daughter, the middle daughter, the youngest daughter, and the mom. And have full-blown conversations with the different edits and the different clothings and different makeup and all that. It is absolutely epic because, I mean, she nails that dynamic where it's like the mom's like, okay, I need you to do this. And the young one's like, no! And then the other two are like, oh, gosh, let's get ready for the funeral. Mom's going to absolutely kill her for this. And then the mom's like, okay, well, just when you get a chance. And they're like, are you serious? Like,
yes,
what the
that's basically
fuck?
what it's like.
It's like, I got beat within an inch of my life, and then the mom's like, oh, you're just being dramatic. No! I actually have pictures!
They get laxer, I'd say.
And Kat, if you're talking about that TikToker, is she blonde? Yes, she's a kind of a skinnier blonde, blue eyes. Like, yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about. 'Cause, I mean, she is epic how she pulls it off. Well, I said, so now my little bro's turning 40 next year. Mama's been gone a few years, and lo and behold, he rents a room from me. And I put in there, ooh, coddled too much. The cat's all the wheel turns, right? And us is all little. He is super street smart. We grew up in the inner city, but not very world smart and doesn't have people skills. He's frustrating, but I love him, so he'll be with me till I grow old and die, I think. Yep, Kat's like, I bet it's who I think it is. She's hysterical. Yeah, she is. I'll have to find her. Go for it, C.
Oz, I kind of have like a similar issue to your brother. Like, I was definitely coddled too much. Even mom admits it. She's like, I was maybe just a little bit too cuddly, just a little bit. We would joke about it. She's like, you gotta start getting more independent. So we've been doing that. But yeah, definitely get coddled more, I would say.
Yeah. My youngest,
Kind of leaves you unprepared.
I have to keep reminding myself I am doing him no favors if I'm not helping him to, learn a little independence as he keeps getting older. As he shows that he can do more things. Okay, well, here you go. Here's a little extra responsibility, but here's also a little extra fun and freedom that you get to go with it. To kind of prepare him for adulthood. Because, adulthood's a lot of work, but it also could be a lot of fun. It's all about maintaining that balance. And JB just said this is actually really sweet. The only family I have left as far as immediate family is my brother. My brother, his wife, and their son. And they have been super supportive. So I want to give a shout out to Tom, Jen, and Frank. They are an incredible family that have been super supportive of me. And Frank being my nephew. They have been referring to me as Gunkle John. And from the first time I met little Frank, he had a love onesie on that had the word love in the pride colors. They've been so supportive and amazing, and I can't ask for anything better. I love all of them.
Aww. Aww.
And that got Kat all up in her feels. Then also, he was coddled in a weird way. He knows what to do when shot at, but not how to get a bank loan.
I mean, I don't know how to do either.
Hit the deck when you're being shot. Just if they're shooting at you, evasive running, I guess, would be the best thing. Find something to get between you and the shooter.
Zigzag like
if
this.
There's just shooting, duck, lay down. Now, as far as the bank loan goes, there's a book you sign to speak with a loan officer, and then you tell them what you need. And then they pull up your credit report, and then it's a back and forth dialogue until you guys figure out what works.
I'm going to avoid getting a bank loan.
Yeah, don't get it unless you need it.
Yeah, I know. But even if I have to, I don't think I will. Just for the sole fact I have to talk to the person.
One thing I would recommend, and this is something I've recommended to to my adult kids too, is get yourself, when you're 18, which you are, get yourself a secured credit card from your bank. Basically, it's you put $200 in, and you have a credit card that's worth $200. It's worth what you put in. After a year, you get your money back, and then it's now an unsecured line of credit, as long as you were responsible with it, and now you have credit history being built up. And it's not even a ton of...
Oh, go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying, and it's not even a ton of credit, but it's the beginning of building a credit history. And I was that young one when I was 18, like, I don't want credit cards. I don't want to have to deal with it. You know what? That really hampered me a lot.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't really know if I would trust myself with a credit card. Like, not that I go out anywhere, but like, I don't really have the income to do that.
Okay, so JB said things that misspoke. Why would I say that after me telling you about my supportive family? I thought I said that it was really sweet. And that it got Kat up in her feels. I loved what you said.
Yeah.
Dude, I love you, dude. You're an amazing guy. And yeah, I know. I support you.
Yeah. Of course.
And then also saying E knows what's up when it comes to the shooting. I've never been in this situation, but I've learned. I paid attention. And also the same thing, secured credit card. Okay. So Kat was saying that was directed at Oz, but not you, JB. He said Oz, but it was quiet. Sorry about that. Oz actually said it really well here. Understanding credit is important. The best way to think about it is building trust. If you break your promise to your friends, they don't trust you. If you don't pay your bills, companies don't trust you'll pay them. Oh yeah, JB, he was saying you said something about getting a bank loan, and I was, what the fuck does that have to do with me and my family? Yeah, no, it was. Oz was talking about how his brother knows what to do when getting shot at, but not how to get a bank loan, and that's where that conversation went that way. Sorry, JB, just a little misunderstanding there. Yeah, actually, to be honest, when it came to first bank loans, I was terrified. And my wife's like, "Oh, I've done this before. Let's just go in and do." I'm like, "Really? You just go in and you just say yes, I'd like a loan," and then they could tell you within like within an hour if you can have the loan or not. That seems a little bit scary, but it really is.
Yeah.
It really is like that. They check your credit history. They check to see what your usage is. They check to make sure that you pay your bills on time. Make sure you don't have any delinquencies. If you have delinquencies, get them cleaned up. You know, they really do work with you. And they could give you a lot of advice on how to strengthen your position credit-wise to get what you want at really good interest rates. I mean, it's part of their job is to try to get you to take a loan, but a part of that also is making sure you know how to get a loan and what's important and what's not. They're really like, and I actually have a family that works in banks and finance. I could easily hook you up with someone to talk to if you wanted to just learn the basics.
I don't think so. I don't think I'll ever take a loan.
Right. One day you might want to buy a house.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, credit cards, I don't know, because again, I don't really have an income, so I really have no way of paying that.
Right. Definitely want to have a job first.
Yeah.
All right, so JB said, "Thank you for the clarification. I didn't think you were intentionally trying to be an insensitive prick." And I said, "I'm only an insensitive prick for humorous reasons, or if I really don't like you. And you'll know if I don't like you. I make no bones about it. I don't play nice with people I don't like. It's like, if I don't like you, I'm going to let you know I don't like you. If I have to work with you, I will be civil with you, but we'll never go beyond that. Like, if you're like, hey, let's go out and get drinks, I'm like, no. Why not? Because I don't want to. But you go out with the other people? Well, yeah. Figure it out, dude. Figure it out.
Thankfully, I've never had that situation happen to me.
Love you too, JB. I just gotta love you, bro.
Aww.
JB and I hit it off pretty quick when we were working at the same company. Even though geographically, you know, I'm in California, he's in Texas. But we were part of the same overall team, and we got to know each other pretty well. He's one of the very few people I'm still in constant contact with.
Good.
And JB, we still got to talk about that thing that we were talking about before with the podcasts, plural. Ooh, hint for everybody else. Damn, Scar.
I don't really have anyone that I'm like kind of always checking on, or at least talking with. Maybe like one person on Discord, but that's about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that you and I will go through these little bursts, and then like nothing for a while, and then a little burst, and then nothing for a while.
Yeah, I am notoriously quiet, and I'm a lurker. I will just lurk, and then one day on Discord, I'll just spam a bunch of things, then disappear. That's how it goes.
And Oz just said, I could vouch for how he is about people he works with. Yeah, I was never on Oz's team, but I sat next to him. I know Oz. We've talked quite a few times. He saw me work. Yeah, if I don't like someone at work, it's pretty clear, but I keep it professional. Because there's no point in causing undue conflict, but I'm not going to go out of my way and bend over and do anything nice for you that's I'm just, no, if I don't like you, I don't like you.
Right.
Like, okay, if I do something that's nice, it's probably because I get something out of it too, if it's at work, and I don't like you. If I like you, I will bend over backwards to help you. Catzla, you don't like anyone, see?
I do like people, but I mean, I don't really talk to people that I know, like, very often. Like, my only best friend in real life, I haven't talked to in about like 5 weeks or so. It's been a while. And other than that, I have one Discord person that I talk to more often than not. And that's about it. I talk to the group chat sometimes, but for the most part, I am a very, very quiet person on a lot of things.
And I've noticed that from, what little time we've engaged. Like, you're always aware of what's going on.
Yeah. And
that's a lurker.
Yes. And some days I just can't respond. I'll look, but I'll just have a bad day and I just don't really want to talk,
So Oz was also saying, at work, if he doesn't like someone, he at best gives them active listening sounds and nods. There is zero engagement. It's funny to watch. Like, yeah, that is me. He called it the art of politely dismissing people. And then JB said, I'm dating a guy that's willing to give me foot massages whenever I want. So is he a keeper? Kat said, absolutely. I said, it's a great sign. And I said, that sounds like a big win, JB.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and not only is there no engagement, my mind doesn't even engage. Like, I'm a million miles away, and it's just automated, instinctual, give the right appropriate sounds at the right times and nod. And as soon as they walk away, already just completely out of mind.
If I don't like someone, I'm just kind of annoyed by, like, their entire existence. Like, just them looking my direction will be like, fuck you. Like, how dare you look at me?
It really bothers me how you process oxygen.
Yes. How dare you breathe in my presence? Just anything they do will get me annoyed. So I usually don't talk to those people because I don't want to be annoyed and I don't want to get snappy. You know?
The Oz put it, it's zero fucks. So little fucks they owe fucks.
Yes. Exactly. Just no fucks given.
Right?
Just one ear out the other.
I can't, honey. I'm doing my podcast. I can't. Mama is supposed to have been home already. I don't know what's going on. And the kids came up to me. They're asking me to help swap out discs for a game. I'm just like, just find a different game. We have a bunch downloaded and only very few that are not. Oh, kids! Kids, Mama will be home in like 10 minutes. Thank you, find my iPhone. The life of a
dad. Yeah.
Yep. JB, I'm so heavily censoring myself right now. I don't know why. This is a safe space. I actually saw something that was really funny. It was all, what if sex sounded like the same thing as when you have a straw in a cup and you move it back and forth? That of the straw.
I mean, I've never done that, so I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. I think anyone would be distracted by that sound. Like,
Right?
it would just kill the mood instantly.
It's like, yeah, we don't do this for pleasure. We do it to laugh.
Yeah. Let's get a workout from laughing so much.
Oh, Family Guy had this great gag about. They asked Quagmire about his time in Vietnam. It's like when you go to war, you prepare for carnage and you prepare for this and that. What they don't prepare you for is, oh my God, what was the name of that song? I had it and I just Fortunate Son. Like, they don't prepare you for hearing Fortunate Son insistently. Every time I'm in a helicopter, Fortunate Son. Every time I'm on a boat, Fortunate Son. Even when I was having sex in a whorehouse, my penis would do Fortunate Son. And you'd hear it be all clear, muffled, cleared, muffled, cleared, muffled.
Wow.
So JB just said, I got a pretty messed up message from this guy I'm talking to, but I'm censoring it unless y'all want to know. I said we always want to know. JB said, I'll share if E wants me to. Dude, if you need to share by all means. You know, we all want to hear you. We're all curious. We all care about you.
Have you ever had family that you just, like, never met?
My family's fucking huge, so yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, uncles or cousins or something, like that.
Not that close, no.
Ah.
Like, I know, actually, on my dad's side of the family, we have a group chat. It's all of the cousins that are blood related to that side of the family. No other cousins. So none of my mom's side's cousins. None of, like, say, my dad's sister's kids. None of their dad's side of the family cousins. It's just that one bloodline. And it's awesome. We have fantastic chats all the time.
That sounds awesome. I know my aunts and uncle from my mom's side, but I never met an uncle and an aunt of mine on my dad's side. They both died before I met them. My uncle to AIDS because he was a gay man, and my aunt in a car accident in a buggy.
Oh. Yeah, my wife, one of her favorite cousins, gay man in the 80s, got AIDS.
It's terrible.
Yeah, AIDS was... it's still...
It was a death sentence.
Back then it was.
Yes. And it still can be in certain areas,
Yeah, it's a fucked up disease.
It is. It really is. I can only imagine. I wish I met him because apparently he was a lot like my dad in a way. So it would have been interesting meeting him. I wish I could have.
Yeah, I wish that I could remember my great-grandpa that gave me the nickname that has stuck with me the longest, and I don't really want to say it because, no. My family has the right to call me that.
Right.
I do have one... Okay, so to kind of give you an idea of how weird the longevity in my family is, my grandfather on my mom's side passed away when I was a junior in high school. First day of finals.
Wow.
My uncle, my middle uncle on my mom's side, died of a massive heart attack just before I got married. My wife went to the memorial for my great-grandmother, the mother of my grandfather who passed away.
Wow.
She lived forever.
It seems like a lot of older people do. Both my grandmas live until their 80s, 90s. I mean, that's a long time. I can imagine being around for 8 and 9 decades, almost a century.
Right.
Just saying that, it makes you sound super old.
All I could think of is South Park, Stan Marsh's grandfather. Kill me, Billy! I said, I just found my bio dad's side of the family. I grew up with a small fam and found out I have something like 100 family members I never knew about. Wow. That'd be like finding my dad's side of the family.
Ooh. Massive.
So JB, this dude asked me for pictures, X-rated pictures,
I
if you
know
know what
there
I
is
mean.
a other
Oh, go
side
for
of
it.
my mom's.
Other side of your mom's?
Oh. Oh, my mom has like a bunch of cousins in her side of the family in like different states. I think one's in Illinois. So there's like a whole part of my family that I don't even know, you know? So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, there's one of my uncles moved to Michigan and has a kid there, and like that's one of my cousins that I barely know. I wish I knew him better, but again, he's in Michigan. We only get to see him like
Right.
once every 10 years or so, or every 5 years. It's hard to get to know someone that way, but now we have that chat that we just started up just a few months ago, and it's really nice because now we're really starting to get to know each other as adults, as opposed to when we were kids and all cousins, and we were drug around by our family everywhere, and sometimes you're like, I don't want to go. Oh, well, your cousin so-and-so's
Right.
going to be there. Oh, okay, I'll go.
It's basically how it is. But what was
So JB was saying
JB
this
saying?
this dude asked me for pictures, X-rated pictures, if you know what I mean. I sent this guy one picture, and he said my ass was huge. No one has ever said that to me. This guy seemed to be sweet, so I may cut him some slack, but I've never had anyone tell me I was huge. Should I boot his ass or give him a chance? The dude does have an accent, so maybe it could have been a cultural difference. I would say if there's a possibility of a cultural difference, I would say let's try. I would try communication first. Be like, if it's a cultural thing, then okay, well, that's understandable. If it was an insensitive kind of thing, well, maybe not. Again, that's something you're gonna have to figure out. But I always default to the side of let's clarify before judging. At least I try to. It's not always easy. And JB also said AIDS is horrible, which it is. Kat, I've got billions in Sweden, thereabouts. Also, lots of second, third cousins in the Midwest. Yeah, I don't really know any of my second and third cousins. I do know that, like, some of my mom's aunts, I called an aunt as well. And some of my mom's cousins are just cousins. I know that's, like, second cousins right there. But, we were just kind of a tight-knit family.
I mean, I called a cousin of mine my aunt. Oh yeah, speaking of her, she got me to be a horror movie lover. Have you ever heard of The House of Wax?
Yes! I love that
I
movie.
watched that when I was 3, and apparently I would dance like one of the ladies, like a stripper almost, and say "House of Wax, House of Wax."
So,
I was obsessed with that movie.
so back at the time, I said the best scene in that movie is when they killed Paris Hilton. If you're listening, Paris, sorry.
Paris Hilton.
That
Yeah,
was
it was
back
very
in the
gay.
day.
I
That
would
was
do
back in the
that.
day when
Yeah.
like everyone loved to hate you. So yeah, if you're listening, it was just the time. But yeah, no, House of Wax, it was an interesting thing, and I actually at that time I had a webcomic series, and I came back and I made a comic about a International House of Wax museum, and the one person's like, yeah, I went to go to the International House of Wax, like a museum. It was like, oh, I love all the wax sculptures. You have, like Elton John, and you could have like Elvis Presley and all these ones. And I was like, so who'd you go see? He's like, no, it wasn't like that. It was just little cubes of waxes from all across the world, each one labeled from which country they came from. I'm like, well, that seems really boring. He was like, yeah, I really went there because I wanted to finger Madonna.
Oh my God. Wow.
It looks like Us is talking also about what JB said. It would depend if huge in a good way or a bad way. No one is worth your self-esteem ever. I found that out the hard way. 100% Us. 100%. And yeah, then Kat was also jumping in about that too. Agree with Us. Could be cultural differences. Get clarification. And JB, definitely good advice. Thanks, E. Us, I found my dad's side via 23andMe. I had never met my bio dad. His sister reached out to me when we matched. You see, that's where things like 23andMe and Ancestry.com are actually pretty cool. But I have this privacy thing about it. yes, it was good that genealogy is what ultimately led to the Golden State murderer's capture. But it's also kind of scary that because his family members went to 23andMe, the government was able to find somebody. That's a little bit terrifying. You know, that there goes your sense of privacy. And it's not even if you went to 23andMe. It was like a cousin of his did. But there was a close enough match to the blood and stuff from the Golden State Killer's, evidence. And it turned out he was living in my town that I'm in now when they arrested him.
Wow.
Yeah, that was great. Let me tell you. Like, this little town, it's a pretty safe town. The cops here are famous in the area for being assholes. Unless you live here. Because over 80% of the officers in our police department live in the same in the same city that they police. That right there is, neighborhood policing. And it's awesome. It's really hard to be an absolute asshole to the guy that lives just down the street from you. If they're actually a good guy. But yeah, that was a little bit weird because lately this town has been hitting the news sometimes and not for good reasons. And then JBL said House of Wax is such a good movie. Like, seriously, House of Wax is underestimated. It's like, I think it was underrated. It was a lot better than like the critics and the audiences said it was. Really? See? Neanderthal DNA?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, apparently if you're of European descent, you have some Neanderthal DNA because that's where Neanderthals lived, in Europe.
Yeah, then I guess that'd be part me too.
And we migrated there and we interbred.
Yes.
It's cool.
One thing that's interesting...
Oh,
go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm basically a European mutt. I'm just from all over Europe, basically. Like, just broadly European.
Catsall, you probably shouldn't have told E that about you having Neanderthal DNA. You know what?
Oh, I don't care.
Heroes,
they were also human.
In their own way. I mean, technically speaking, they were not Homo sapiens.
No, but they were related to us.
They're definitely hominids.
Species.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing that was interesting.
They're still human.
One thing that was interesting.
At least human. Go on.
Neanderthals felt no pain.
Interesting.
They found, like with skeletal records, they found that Neanderthals would chase things off of cliffs, and they would jump off the cliff too, shatter their legs, and just keep going. They did not feel pain. It's also part of the reason why they went extinct. They felt no pain. Pain's kind of a good thing. It's a warning sign that this is probably not the best idea.
How would they not feel pain, though, if every living animal evolved to feel pain?
They didn't. They may have felt pain on the outside, but like internal pain, like bone breaks, they didn't feel it. They could feel the sensation. They know there's something wrong, but it didn't cause them pain. And they would just keep going. How they're able to find that out from skeletal remains is unbelievable to me, but they have discovered...
find a lot... Oh, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you were kind of saying, they do discover a lot with that. And a lot of it also is like, you look at the skeletons of things today and compare with back then and go, oh, well, that's why this looks the same here. Okay, so now we understand that they did this.
Right. Yeah, you can find out a lot through bones. You can tell if they had diseases, if there was chewing on the bone before or after death, things like that, if there's any healing.
Right.
Basically. In a lot of Neanderthal bones, in a certain cave called, I think it's Shenadar Caves, there was quite a few Neanderthal skeletons where it would have like a bunch of injuries, and they're older for their time. They're around their 40s. They found one was basically missing an arm. He had like a fracture of his skull. Some of his ribs were broken. He had really bad arthritis. He had no teeth. And he lived to his 40s. And they found out, well, through him and through the other skeletons that they found that they were well taken care of, which a lot of people didn't think Neanderthals were capable of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can find out quite a few things. Cannibalism, prey-predator relationships, all types of things. There's even one where I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going off on paleontology.
We're going to have to sit and watch like some nature documentaries together. I think that we would have the most fun doing that.
Listen. There's a dinosaur like documentary basically called Prehistoric Planet. We gotta watch it.
Yeah, the one that's on Apple Plus.
Yes.
Yeah. I started it. It's amazing, but my kids are like, and my son's like a huge dino head, but he won't finish the series. I'm like, I need someone to finish the series with.
Yes, we need to watch it. I showed my nieces it, and spoilers, major spoilers. But the little T-Rex that got eaten by the mosasaur, one of my nieces,
I think that's why my kids won't watch it anymore.
Yeah, and she started sobbing, and she went underneath the covers of our couch and just sobbed. And my other niece, she started crying too, and I had to tell them, no, it's okay. The other ones are alive. It's okay, you know? Trying to cheer them up.
But they started with 7 and ended with 3. Well, yeah, popcorn chicken. You can't eat just one.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay. The other ones are alive.
Oh, yeah, my kids were so distraught about that. I was like, wow, that was a little more than I was expecting. I mean, I should have known because it's from the same people that did, like, Walking with Dinosaurs. And they were brutal in that. Same with Walking with Monsters. Fantastic. Walking with Dragons is probably one of the best because they just went full fantasy and, like, how could this happen? And, oh, my God, it was amazing. But, yeah, and also, this is what got my son to want to watch because at first, like, I don't want to see anything Apple Plus. I'm like, it's narrated by David Attenborough. He's like, I need to watch this.
That makes it 1,000 times better.
Yeah, it's like when you have one of the most legendary nature narrators ever doing your show, yeah, you automatically become a must-watch.
Oh, yes. But, yeah, I was saying before we got to the Prehistoric Planet stuff, they could tell from a Protoceratops and a Velociraptor, like, locked in battle, that there was a predator-prey relationship to them, and even they found out, like, the hours of the night that the fight could have happened and how they died. It's very interesting. It piques my interest a lot. I think you can tell for how much I've rambled on about dinosaurs and fossils and all that type of stuff.
We have to watch this together. We have to.
Yes, we do.
I freaking love dinosaur stuff, and I love David Attenborough.
Anything documentary related, and especially if it has David Attenborough, I will watch it.
Same.
Like, I won't watch movies, but I'll watch documentaries.
You sure you won't watch a horror movie with me?
I mean, it depends what type of horror movie.
Have you seen
If
Saw?
it's The Grudge, I'm not watching it. Yes, I've seen Saw.
I love The Grudge.
The Grudge 3 gave me nightmares. I'm not even kidding. But then again, I was also in, like, 3rd grade, so I was, like, 8 years old.
The Howling gave me nightmares. Oof. Yeah, if you watched it now, you'd be like, wow, that was what was considered state-of-the-art and most realistic. At the time, yes.
Yeah,
the transformation from man to werewolf was one of the most detailed and creepy-ass scenes ever done. To this day, it's still good. I mean, you can totally tell now that it's just 100% pure practical effects and stop motion. But because it's stop motion, they're adding fur and adding makeup. You can just imagine how many hours, and the actor had to stay still. And whenever he did expressions, he had to do like micro movements of the expressions as he was going. Yeah. Unbelievable amount of work went into the scene, and it is so worth it. I mean, it's like chef's kiss.
Well, what I would imagine, you know, for a younger kid, that would be terrifying. I'm sure if I saw it when I was younger, I would be scared. I remember watching Freddy Krueger when I was younger.
Ooh.
Oh.
That is not something you want to see when you're younger.
Yeah, so I'll tell you specifically, I remember it in detail. There was a Christian group that came over to our apartment complex and was just hanging around. And I was like, you know, I'm kind of tired of hanging around them. I'm going to go inside the rec room. And inside the rec room, they had the TV playing Freddy Krueger or The Nightmare on Elm Street. And oh boy, was that a mistake. I remember the scene where I think it was like young Adam Sandler? No,
If it's the
Johnny.
original, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, of like the water, like not the water,
blood,
the
yeah.
blood gushing from. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that was nightmare fuel. That scene was
Yeah,
nightmare fuel.
little kid me was not vibing with that at all, and I left that. I left it as soon as possible.
So my sister and I, we loved the original Ghostbusters, and we would watch that like over and over again. Then we made the mistake one night of watching it during a thunderstorm while my parents were still at work at night. That scene where Dana's sitting in the chair and all the hands grab her, and then the door, you see the face press through the door of the demon dog, and then the head turn. Yeah, that was a mistake. Even if I had watched it at that point dozens of times, that night, that scene, big mistake.
Yeah, that's
scared the shit out of both of us.
Oh, I'm sure that's basically what happened with The Grudge, except it wasn't storming, it was just nighttime, and everyone else fell asleep. I was wide ass awake watching all around me. It was so late. They didn't even have a clock. But one of my niece's grandma, she was like, "See, what are you doing up? It's super late. Go to bed." I was like, "I'm watching for The Grudge." And she's like, like, just go to bed, kid. Go to fucking bed. And ever since then, and even before that, I've been terrified of crawling things or like dark corners and hallways. I'm very,
The Grudge
very,
was really
very
good at...
suspicious of those types of things. I get pretty freaked out pretty quickly if I'm alone.
All I'm going to say is when it comes to horror, the Japanese are really hard to beat. Since The Grudge is originally Japanese.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
The Ring, it had its moments.
The only thing I didn't really like about The Ring was the distorted faces. Just distorted faces in general. They're just... I don't know how to explain it. I guess in the best way it's called Uncanny Valley.
Oh, I'm very familiar with
That's
Uncanny
exactly
Valley.
what it is.
It's why I can't enjoy the Polar Express. Way too Uncanny Valley for me.
Oh. I used to watch that when I was a kid all the time. But speaking of Uncanny Valley, there's a YouTube series called The Mandela Catalog. It is all about the uncanny. I recommend it if anyone loves horror. Watch it.
Yeah,
it might not be scary to you, but it's very interesting. Like, what is it called? Almost analog horror. That's what it's called. That's basically what it is. Analog horror. There's quite a few of them on YouTube. I recommend it.
Yeah, and then Kat was saying that about The Howling. I love The Howling. The ending was poop emoji, though. It really was. It's like it ruined the whole movie. It did. It really did. It was like a giant middle finger to the fans. And it's like, The Ring was scary as I remember. And Polar Express, they have scary eyes. Yeah, the all too human but dead eyes. That's what it was about it that really bothered me. Kind of like on Rogue One. They did great with the Princess Leia. But the Grand Admiral, that it was so soulless, so dead. It was really creepy. The Uncanny Valley will just creep the shit out of you. That's kind of what it is. It's that whole thing of it's familiar but wrong.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Oh, one that we'll have to watch definitely is another analog thing. It's called Buzu's Ghosts. We gotta watch it because I've avoided watching it alone just because it has that uncanny valley, like I feel like someone's watching me type of thing. Yeah. we have to watch that as well as Prehistoric Planet. I recommend it.
Definitely. And I have to watch Prehistoric Planet. I've been dying. I don't want to just watch it alone. It's a David Attenborough thing. I can't watch it alone. You got to share. You're going to have to hit pause a few times and be like, whoa, and discuss.
Talk about the dinosaurs, yes.
Yeah, and people get pissed. They're like, why can't you just sit and watch? It's like, because there's stuff to talk about. Because there's interesting things. That's why they have a pause button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, like the Howling, the reason that one really got me, I hate to throw my dad under the bus on this one, but he wanted to watch it, and it was the only TV in the house, and yeah, stupid me, I watched it thinking I'd be okay. It was the glassy eyes, more than anything, when someone was about to transform, that really freaked me out. And that reflective eye, so I would wake up in a cold sweat because I had a dream where the dog, like the eye reflected like this of a dog.
Wow, that's terrifying. Oh, another one that freaked me out, but... Oh, go on?
Us was saying bye.
Oh, bye, Oz. Another one that freaked me out as a kid but I loved it, was Silent Hill.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I really hated, because... Just let me get you a little background. When I was a kid, we went to a Halloween store and there was a crawling thing on the floor. Yeah, it chased me all around and I freaked out. But anyway, the crawling things on the Silent Hill were the ones that got me the most. Because they were crawling. Like, Pyramid Head, I thought he was cool as fuck. I was like, yeah, he's ripping someone's skin off, but I thought he was really cool, But it was the crawling things that really freaked me out. And like, yeah, the crawling things got me the most.
Dang. Yeah, like I have to say, as far as video game to movie transitions, I've only seen a few. Most of them suck. Most of them just blow chunks. I really liked Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, I watched that as a kid as well. I love the Resident Evil franchise. The games, the movies.
They intertwine so well. You remember?
Yes. I would just kind of, when my cousins would play it, I would watch them in the background. I would be so into it. I'd be like, run, go, they're chasing you. You gotta go, shoot them in the head. You gotta avoid them. I was so into it. And the movies, too, I got really into it. There was one where they're using quarters as, like, bullets. I thought that was really, really cool idea. But yeah. I really liked Resident Evil as well. Yes, exactly.
So I was playing on the PlayStation 2, Resident Evil 4.
Ooh.
And I wasn't allowed to play it because my littlest at the time, who's now my middle child, would come and see it and be like, ah! I'm like, okay, off. Never going to be able to play this game.
Wow.
I actually got fairly into the game too, but it was that whole thing of I'd start playing it, she'd walk in and meltdown, be like, okay, this sucks.
Wow, that does suck. That did suck.
Okay, so there's this, it's a commercial that has a very, very famous jump scare in it. It has like this car, like the silver car going down this windy road, and with classical music in the background. It's kind of quiet, so you have to turn up to hear it. And then the car goes into this little grove of trees, and you expect it to pop out on the other side, but it doesn't. And you sit there for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden this guy dressed in green jumps up right for the camera and screams. And of course you had your speakers turned up because the music was quiet, so it's really fucking loud. And then it had this heartbeat afterwards. It was an energy drink commercial. My little one walked in right as the jump scare happened.
Of course.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah, so she has some issues now, and I'm like, yeah, good chunk of that was just bad timing. Like showing her mom something, and then she just da-da-da-da-da, right at the scary part.
Great, right.
Thought you were going to be out in the living room for at least another minute. Was thinking more like a half an hour because the show's on, but, at least another minute.
Right.
Her and I have a pretty good relationship. Took her out to karaoke. Hoping to do it again soon. Had a lot of fun. I actually went ahead and did the Humpty Dance the entire time through. And then I went out with another friend and went to do the Humpty Dance, and I got winded doing just the lyrics. I was like, yeah, I ain't doing the dance. I even said it during the song. I was like, here's the dance. It's really easy to do. I ain't doing it. All right, so jump to the side like your leg was broken, shaking and twitching kind of like you was smoking. I ain't doing it. I kept throwing that in there through the whole song. Well, I guess we're just going to have to reschedule a favor because, her side was really good.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Do you think now would be a good time to call it?
I think so. We don't have a guest next week, so maybe I'll see if Favor can just come in and do it then. That was supposed to be Pastor Bill, but he had to cancel. That's okay. Sometimes you have to cancel. But the guest we have coming up the week after that, Sam Wilson, that one has really piqued my curiosity a lot. It's one that Bexy got scheduled, and he's been on NPR. He's been on Good Morning America, so deals with addiction treatment and is now focusing on pre-addiction, which, let's face it, addiction and mental health tend to go hand in hand. Addiction could lead to poor mental health. Poor mental health could lead to addiction. It's a vicious cycle. They do feed into each other, and it is a vicious cycle. So, yeah, very happy to have that coming in. I've been trying to get someone to come in that does, addiction treatment. Because, that working with addicts has got to be taxing on your own mental health.
Sure.
And I want to know how they get through it. Who helps the help?
Right.
Because at some point, everybody needs some help somewhere.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's going to be a pretty interesting episode. And it's funny, too, because, it's cool. We've been around for 3 years now, or we're in our third year. And to have this just out of the blue, hey, this person's been on this and is interested in going on your podcast. Cool, bring them on.
Right.
We're not big. We are growing. And, this is important to us. Would we like more exposure? Of course. Of course we would. We're not making money off of this. We just would like to get more exposure. Get more guests, get more stories. Get more things that people don't typically talk about. And Kat just said, yes, exactly. Who supports the supporters? Exactly. It's like lately my mental health has been the absolute fucking gutter. Absolute trash mental health. My therapist that I have has been helping. I've been feeling a little bit better. But, I'm still coming on the podcast. I'm still laughing, having a good time. This podcast gives me a lift every time. Sia and I, when we were getting ready to start tonight, we were just both really quiet, really reserved. Just kind of I guess we're going to have to do this. And then the episode gets going, and I don't know about you, but I genuinely do feel better.
I feel a bit better, but, Yeah,
I don't feel perfect. I don't
always
feel
comes
great.
back. Yeah.
But I feel like I got a little lift. It'll help me get through a little bit more of the day.
Good.
Yeah.
This and smoking some, I feel like, will help me. It helps with my irritation, and I gotta be as calm as possible because the dinosaur game updated, and the servers are fucking full, and it was getting me mad as shit.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got some servers to wait, and also the worst part I feel, is not that the servers are full, but the counter for the amount of players in the server is broken. So you don't know if someone leaves or not. That's the worst part. Yeah. So
So I do
I've
want
got some frustration tonight.
I do want to say when I do finally get full time with my company, or if I go over to Oz's company when I'm mentally better place where I can go ahead and take that on, I do have I could build my own PCs. I've done it for years and years and years and years and years. Fuck that! I don't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. I have a PC from a boutique shop that. I'm big on supporting veterans. This is veteran owned. The proceeds go to helping things like the Wounded Warrior Project and helping veterans in need and helping with PTSD and stuff. So yeah, I have a PC ready to go. When I get the job, putting down a credit card, buying it. You'd be like, boom, and then I'll be playing the Isle with you.
Yes. Let's be pterodons and harass smaller dinos.
That sounds
and bigger
like
dinos
fun.
Too.
Oh yeah, you're a flyer.
Yeah, you just swoop down and peck them. I mean, I've done it before with other players. Well, you could just make blocks and swarm people till they leave bodies.
Well, it's like on I'm playing the classic Burning Crusade for World of Warcraft right now, and sometimes there's a daily quest that puts me in, which is a low level area. And I'm almost at max level right now, so I'm fairly high level. I'm high enough to where they don't want to fuck with you. They want to run from you. And most of them have slow mounts, where I have the fast mount. So I'll see someone running ahead of me that's on the opposite faction. I'll chase them down. I'll hit them with the frost shock to slow them. Run up and hit them once, and then just keep running. I'm like, I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to just freak you out.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'd say this has definitely raised my mood.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's like in World of Warcraft, there's a lot of people that go around ganking and will camp people. I'm not that person. I'm the person, I want to give you a little scare.
Right.
However, if you turn around and engage me, yeah, I'm going to kill you. Because that's the name of the game. But if you're like, oh crap, he's going to kill me. No, I'm not. If you're like resigned to it, that's when I just keep going. Like, it's just a run by, and I'll even do a wave as I'm running. I'll do like, they wave at you and just keep going. I can just imagine what the player's like, oh god damn it, I'm going to, wait, what? It's like, yeah, I hope that you remember me later, like if you have a high level alt, that you won't kill me because I had the opportunity to kill you and I didn't.
Right.
Oh, I fucked with you. Go ahead and fuck with me. I don't care. It's fun. So yeah, we'll try to see if we can get Favor back next week. If not, we'll find somebody. I'll be able to be on Facebook Messenger again before then. That'll help. I think that going forward, starting on the next season, we should have people emailing us through our podcast email. That way it's easier for us to reach out. So that way we're not dependent on these systems.
Right.
That's why I'm also planning on getting a business phone. So that way it's like, hey, you know what? Just for the text messages, just for the episode. Like, I'm not going to save your contact information beyond the episode unless you want me to. But stuff like that. And Kat said, good. Glad you both got a little serotonin boost. Yes.
Yes.
Of course, now I think that my kids have left me alone at this point because I think the wife got home and now they are going to the drive-in theater. Okay. Which leaves me staying home. Let's see. Okay, so the wife is home right now. Hey, I might be able to go to the movies with them. Cool.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. All right, then. Until next week, I'm E.
C.
Bye-bye!